Atari said my console was shipping by Halloween. The lie detector determined that was a lie. Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Guys, based on your feedback, what you had told me, I ordered my console straight from Atari, right? Because you guys had bad experiences ordering their consoles from there. Now, the My Arcade Game Station Go was made by another company. But when it comes to the Atari brands, you guys told me, hey, you know what? When we order it from Atari, I always get it later. I don't know why, I just get it late. And I see other people getting the consoles, they just order it from Amazon. Well, I put this to the test. And unfortunately, they were right. Atari, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You know, you have so much goodwill from the community. And to drop the ball like this in operational sense, right? I'm not going to sit here as the, angry customer who's just, pissed off or whatever, because I want the company to succeed. So I'm going to give you what I call, right, a term I coined back in the day, positive hate, right? Because this is really unacceptable. Right? As a business person, who does audits for a living, business analyst, I would go into an organization like this and just rip them, because this is a lack of communication with customers, right, guys? It's the 8th now, as of today, right? We're entering the second week now. There have been no emails, no communication. I've made a couple of comments on Twitter saying, where's my console? I can't wait. And then they keep on pushing it even more, but you can't even get it. What are you pushing? Right? What's the idea of buying it through you, where you actually would make more money because you're selling direct to the customer? But you don't prioritize the customer, you prioritize your other contracts. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is really an allocation problem, right? Where they produce so many consoles, but they allocate, the contracts they have with Amazon or other retailers first, and leave their own, the direct orders, for last. Meaning you're going to get them when you get them. And at this point, it actually has been the experience that a lot of people had criticized them for. Now, since this is a repeat offense, this is where I got to give you positive hate. Because this is going on. You guys are just refusing to address it, right? And as you do, the voices are going to get louder. Now, I'm not a channel that is a shill, right? Outwardly because I get free products from anybody. No, I'm just a guy just like you. I work for a living and I buy stuff that I want to have fun with. I'm not here to complain because I'm not one of these guys that, I wanted a free console, they should send me a review copy. I don't want any of that. I just want, when I order stuff with my money, I want it to come in on time. I don't want Pepe in Brazil to be getting it first, right? When I pre-ordered the product for you, right? I understand the shills are going to get it, right? But you're not going to get this here. I'm not going to be, this product is great. Let me show you something else. And never be actually critical of these companies, because they won't get any better. If you don't put your voice out, nothing's going to happen. And I want to see Atari succeed, but you're not going to succeed by becoming a repeat offender towards the customer that supports you the most, the customer that buy direct from you. When a company sells direct instead of Amazon, for example, they make a higher profit margin. You're selling direct, you don't have to pay commissions to Amazon. Now, the problem with selling through Amazon and all these other channels is that they highlight your deficiencies. In this case, Atari's distribution model is not good, right? You tell me, right? You guys that are out there working every day, you tell me, how late can you be on a job? Can you be 2 days late? 3 days late? Can you be a week late without actually even reaching out to your customer? Without telling them, look, we're late, but we're going to send you these stickers. We're late, but we're going to do something for you. No, you're just going to get it when you get it. That's it. As to this point, they refuse to communicate with anybody that's complaining. They don't address this issue whatsoever. right? But there isn't anybody that's going to say it. It looks to me, right, that I smell a lot of puss out there because they're not willing to mention these things out loud in order to keep a good relation with a company. You won't criticize them. Well, you get a better relationship with anybody if you tell them the truth. I'll have a better relationship with you if I'm excited for the Game Station Go and I tell you everything about it. But when something's crappy, like this delivery for the ATARI Pac-Man 2600, I also tell you that this is crap. This is shit. Right? With their distribution model is absolutely terrible. Right? Now, that's the customer speaking. From a business point of view, right? And like I said, I do this for a living, guys. I audit companies for a living, right? I go in and people ask me, where am I losing money? All right? Who should I fire? Right? Before all the layoffs occur, I'm there going, well, this guy, this guy, this guy. And I could tell you, whoever's in charge, if they farm this out, whoever the operations manager, whoever the quality manager is for them is not doing a good job. If they even exist, it could be a problem with funding. It could be many problems. But obviously, there's a problem, right? If you're late and you don't address it, right? If people ask you questions and you don't address them, then you're going to get videos like this by guys like me. And probably guys that are not going to be as friendly towards the ATARI brand. I grew up with it. I have a nostalgia for these games. Right? I want the ATARI brand to succeed, but it's not going to succeed by being mediocre. So let me break down the points they should be working on, right? Now I'm going to act as the business analyst, right? Let's just pretend we were trying to get ATARI ISO certified or NatCap or AS, whatever standard you want, right? Whatever ISO electronic standard you want, whatever customer service standard you want. And let's see if we can dig a little deeper and show what problems I have. Now, I'm not doing this, right? I'm not doing this just to crap on the company. I'm doing this to show the deficiencies and and frankly, just to embarrass whoever the hell is in charge of this, because they've done a poor piss job of managing it, number one, and even a more terrible job of addressing customer complaints. Now, I wrote in Substack article, guys, and I always tell you go down and sign up. It's free, by the way. You just have to sign up so you can get the letter. A lot of it is the episodes that I make here. This time I'm going to read it a little bit. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I'll give you the major points in it because I think it's important, right? Because I don't only want to address all the terrible parts that I just told you about. I'm going to say what areas they need to improve on, and us as ATARI customers, we can see whether or not they're going to improve on them, aka deliver the shit on time, right? What's the number one rule in business, guys? If you want to be successful, always be on time. That's it. It's not hard, right? And if you're not on time, speak up. All right, guys, so let's go get into it, and I'll show you some of the things they need to work on. All right, guys, so let's get into it right away here. ATARI's big problem, right? ATARI's handling of the Pac-Man Special Edition really is just the latest, right? It illustrates a breakdown between their marketing promises and their operational execution, which is really their problem. In this paper that I wrote here really analyzes, the company's fulfillment and communication failures, from a business perspective, right? From a business and operations management perspective, because I think this is where the failure lies. Now, I don't know what the company structure is. Like I said before, I don't know if they farm this out, right, to somebody else that takes care of it. But whoever it is, they're doing a piss poor job, And that's not a technical term. That's just me saying, as a customer, what it is. Now, there is no excuse for ATARI, right? In the grand scheme of things, when it comes to the video game industry, their market cap, or the valuation, if you will, is about 70 to 90 million euros, which translate to about 80 to 95 million dollars. So you do have the budget to do this, whether you're doing it in-house or farming it out. And it's really, as I say here, a missed opportunity, right? When they announced the Pac-Man 2600 Special Edition console, or plus, whatever it is, when they affirmed on the 31st, we'll put the pictures here where they're saying they're going to release it. They missed an opportunity to make things good, to address the criticism that they've had before from customers. Again, this is what makes it terrible for Atari supporters that actually want to support the company. You think that buying direct, will help the company more, but it doesn't. Right? It doesn't, because operationally they're broken. They don't prioritize their in-house sales, right? And by not doing that, they're actually losing money, right? The more you can sell in-house, right, the more profitable you're going to be. You're going to miss out on dinero, cashola, the crispies. Right? What is the problem here? From an operational standpoint, right? It's poor alignment between sales and operations planning. Right? It's a planning issue. The nuts and bolts of the operation. Whoever's in charge either doesn't have the experience, or frankly just don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, I don't even know how to put it better than that, because even if they had a little bit of experience, they would have reached out to customers that were going to get their items on back order or what have you. And generally, it's a communications failure, if you will, with customers, and that really is what affects you the most, right? Because then you get social media YouTubers like me, and they're not going to go into these things. They're not going to go into the operations of a company and tell you what the possible issues are. They're just going to say that you're a shitty company and that you don't ship your products in time, right? Which is really all people care about. They're not here to give you positive hate or even recommendations like I'm doing here, right? And this is, guys, from a business operation standpoint, I mean, this is really rookie mistakes, right? This is why you need to make a change. Right? If I'm going into a company and I'm seeing these things, I have to look at who's running the show and what kind of experience they have. If they even have a degree, right? If they've studied this stuff. So sometimes you don't have to have a degree, but Jesus Christ, you need to have experience, right? If you don't have separate channels of inventory, you don't know what the hell you're doing, right? You have to have two different stock pools. One's for your direct orders, and the other one's to allocate to inventory to satisfy, pre-orders or what have you. What's happening here is they're using their inventory and they're satisfying their contracts with Amazon and other retailers before they look at the in-house orders. They don't have automated order flow, or they don't have enough units, because you can print out the labels ahead of time. If the units are in your warehouse and you have an ERP and your CRM systems are in line, guys, you can print out those labels right away, send out an email to the customers automatically. AI can do this stuff for you and say, look, this is the shipping label and it's going to ship on the 31st. This is when you should start tracking it, or, 1 or 2 days. But at least you have communication, which is their other failure. They don't have a proactive communication policy. When I'm talking about policies, this is stuff that has to be embedded into the DNA of the company. Right? This has to be part of the operation. People have to know that this is part of their job. Obviously, they don't. Right? Things like sending customers weekly updates, shipment confirmations, or even have a live status board, stuff like that. A launch alignment process. Right? What does that mean? Before releasing it to the public, you verify full operational readiness through shipments and stress tests, right? Like, you can use the stuff that you send to the shills that are just going to, ball wash you, right? They're going to glaze you up. Use that as a test of the efficiencies of the system. I'm not sitting here, guys, saying that the shills should not get their free consoles or whatever they get. That's all and fine, but you have to make sure that the people that actually make you money receive their consoles. Because shills are not buying consoles. Shills are there to get free stuff, right? To glaze you up, get you free stuff so you can get popular. Well, it doesn't matter if on the other side of the shill you have a guy like me pointing all this crap out, and saying, hey, and trust me, guys, if this was any other company, I'd just be ripping them a new asshole, right? But because if it's Atari, I'm taking the time, because I want them to succeed. I'm taking the time to do all these things. You have to have checklists. You have to be
proactive with this stuff. You have to have a mindset, right, of risk assessment all the time within a company, right? Continuous improvement. And this company obviously doesn't have a post-launch review, because they could have learned from the last couple of times that they did this to customers, according to you guys, that, they should have corrected these problems, and the problems still exist. They haven't changed a thing. Right? And maybe it doesn't matter now that they're, they have a market cap under 100 million, but once you get to 500 million, do you think these problems are going to go away if you continue this way? No, they're just going to get worse, right? It's going to get worse, because at some point you're not going to be, giving it to shills that have 30,000, viewers, or 50,000 viewers, or whatever the hell it is. You're going to be giving it to guys that have 1 million viewers. Then all this negative feedback is going to be a lot less. Now, the lessons for the operations managers, if they have one, right? The first thing I would do is put a foot in somebody's ass, right? And I put it here in my letter. And second is, you have to have an operation manager who connects marketing promises with execution, right? So you have to be ready before your salespeople, before your marketing people start making promises. You have to know that you're solid. That's not happening here, right? And one is not aligned with the other, or one is just talking and the other one's not producing. You always have a problem. So ATARI's delays really reflects poor coordination between functions. Customers who order directly expect to be first, not last, because they are the ones that supported you. They are the ones who brought you to the party, right? And this is just going to get worse if they don't make a correction or address it. But as of now, all they're doing is sticking their heads in the sand and hope nobody mentions it, because the bigger channels are saying, oh, this stuff is great. Yeah, it's great when you get it for free, right? When you're not paying a single dime for it, it's great. But for people that are out there working, trying to make a living in this economy, working really hard, right, that buy this stuff for entertainment, for nostalgia purposes, and they just get the shaft after supporting you, it looks terrible. It looks terrible.
All right, guys, those were all criticisms, right? It's positive hate, if you will. But it's constructive criticism, because, as a customer, and I think I've spent $700-800 on ATARI this year. It's not $1,000, but it's not nothing, right? And if you keep losing guys like me, there goes your goodwill. If you lose the guys that brought you to the party, if you lose the guys that bought the VCS, that support you with the games, that do the retro reimagine stuff, you're going to be in trouble. You're not going to be successful long term. Now, hopefully, this company will fix it with the Intellivision Sprint. Am I holding my breath? Based on your track record, no. But now that hopefully somebody that works there in distribution and customer service is embarrassed, maybe they'll do something about it. All right, humans, I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.